Our sponsor, True Classic Tees, has the best fitting t-shirt a man can buy. It's the one-stop shop for your favorite casual crew necks, polos, and activewear. They do the styling, you do the wearing. It's that simple. Most t-shirts are too tight in all the wrong places or look way too big and boxy. There's no in-between, guys. That's until now. True Classic makes a t-shirt that fits just right. And right now, our listeners can get access to the best deal they have ever offered for a limited time only. Get 25% off with the code Chael at trueclassic.com. Their tees are snug around the arms and the chest to make your muscles pop, but they leave a little bit of wiggle room in the torso for extra comfort. Not only will you get the perfect fit, but you will also get the softness that's always wanted at an affordable price. Worried about sizing? True Classic leaves no man behind. For the bigger boys out there, there is tall and triple X sizing. Guys, upgrade your wardrobe with True Classic. Save 25% right now when you go to trueclassic.com and use the promo code Chael. Plus, free shipping on all orders over $100. Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. Guys, who's going to win that fight? How's that fight going to go? What should we expect to see? And moreover, in their first two meetings, which was in kickboxing, what can we expect? Positive attributes, but also negative tendencies to carry over from that match into the MMA film. Now, I'm asking that question because I don't have the answers. I have a guess and I have a prediction. I've done this sport for a very long time. But we've never seen this. We have never seen two kickboxers matched up. And I always wanted it. I mean, even back in 1993, when you're taking the jiu-jitsu guy and you're putting him against the boxer, I would have liked to have seen two boxers. I would have loved to have seen two jiu-jitsu guys. But that wasn't the concept. As a matter of fact, that would have defeated the concept. If you were to put a judo guy versus another judo guy in an MMA realm, that would have defeated the concept back then. I'd like to see it. I can think of a number of great matches, right? I mean, the final wrestle-off in judo. The final judoka matchup for the Olympic team. Then we bring that match back and we change it to MMA rules. Like, for me, that would be really interesting, but we never got to that. We didn't put striker against striker. Even opposing styles. Even karate versus kickboxing, we just didn't do it. So when I tell you that this has never been done, okay, great. Well, this is back when we used to do it, when we had the power of the pen and we would put together the styles. It wasn't against fighters, guys. We didn't have any stars. Royce Gracie was not a star the day he walked out there in 1993. I mean, when I tell you we did not have any stars, it was true. But we had these styles. And when we quit using the power of the pen and we look back, we had not clashed all of the styles. Okay, great. Now they're going to have to do it on their own. There's not a straight line bracket or a normal competitive architecture, but there is a system. There is contenders, there is rankings, there is ways to do this. In all of that time, we have seen wrestler versus wrestler. We have seen jiu-jitsu versus jiu-jitsu. We've never seen striker versus striker. Moreover, pure Muay Thai versus Muay Thai, that's never been done. Then, to boot, the guys competed in that very form, which was Muay Thai. And oh, by the way, they did it twice. When I think of athletes, there's different categories. And that doesn't necessarily mean who went the furthest. I can think of guys from PE class, and so can you, that you watch them and go, my goodness, what a great athlete. But they didn't do organized sport. For whatever reason, they weren't even a member of the baseball team. They didn't do organized sport. Or moreover, they were part of that and then didn't have the grades, didn't want to pursue it, didn't go into college. Or you get guys in college and they were good enough to be the pros, but they flunked out. I mean, you hear the story all the time, right? I think that there's different levels of athletes, not of athletic achievement that you're born with, your natural DNA, your reflexes, your timing. We call it eyes. Can you see things and can you respond? And I think that the highest level of athlete that our sport has today to offer is Israel Adesanya. I don't see anybody that can move quite like him. I don't see anybody that can use their natural attributes, such as length. We'll always talk about who's got a reach advantage. But there's no reason to call it an advantage if the athlete doesn't know how to use it, and very few do. Adesanya does. There's a time to get oohs and ahs from the crowd. There's a time to go out there and be excited, and there's a time to hone in and focus and make sure you win. That's what Adesanya does. He's a very dynamic guy that understands basics win championships, and moreover, it's the basics that are going to defend a championship. I watch a guy with that kind of speed, and then shockingly, he's also got that kind of cardio. I mean, I could just keep heaping the praise on Israel Adesanya. That is a very special athlete right there. And I'm not talking about fighter right now, and I'm not talking about power. I'm not talking about speed. I'm not talking about agility. I'm not talking about balance. I'm talking a combination of all of those things to get myself to the word athlete, because when I look at Pereira, who I'm not overly familiar with, I know that Pereira has opened his mouth 6 times. And I know it's 6 because I could tell you all 6. I could not tell you 6 interviews that I've done. Every time Pereira, all 6, has done something stayed with me. I found him interesting. Found him to be a very compelling guy. He was talking about alcoholism. Pereira's a drunk. This is according to Pereira. So Pereira quit drinking for a period of time, and he goes out to a bar. And before he knows it, he's sloshing drunk again. Now, there was a point in this, because Pereira said, I realized about myself I was strong enough if it's not around to not go seek it. But if it's around, I wasn't strong enough to not put it from my hand to my mouth. So he's never been at an event since where alcohol is present. If he shows up somewhere, he sees alcohol, he turns around and he walks away. I'm just sharing that with you because that has nothing to do with fighting, but it's interesting. I could share with you a time that he posted on Instagram and he kicked a soccer ball into the air, then he grabbed an archery and fired an arrow right through the soccer ball. The guy's interesting. The guy has my attention. I've been watching some of his training footage, and when you talk about athleticism, right, it's a very hard thing to define. It's a very hard thing to explain. Now, we know it when we see it. But what am I trying to tell the audience? If I tell the audience this guy's a good athlete, and I've had commentators do that, I've been watching a commentator at home who will tell the audience this is a good athlete. Okay, but what do you mean? What are you saying? And I don't know that I, rhetorically, could fully explain and define it any better than you can. But guys, we know it when we see it, right? There is a way within the movements and the mannerisms of Pereira, even as I'm watching him in the practice room, even as I'm watching him on the mitts, that are very in line with Adesanya, who up until I saw Pereira, was the bar. There was nobody that I had. There was nobody that I had seen that had a level of athleticism within the sport, any weight class, like Adesanya. Now I'm seeing Pereira, right? Best athletes in the world. In my opinion, it's in this order: Simone Biles, Jordan Burroughs. But that is a very arguable list, where many people would say Jordan Burroughs followed by Simone Biles. But I would put Adesanya on that same list. I would put him on the same page. All around athlete. Right there with the LeBrons and the Tigers and the Mayweathers of the world. And I'm seeing things out of Pereira that is mimicking and mirroring that. What I don't have is a good analysis from a disinterested third party. I would love to hear Henry Hooft speak on this subject, and he won't. Or he hasn't. I have a great relationship with Coach Hooft. I reached out to him personally to just see if he could just turn the camera around and just kind of give us a breakdown. He blew me off. I would love that. I'd love to hear from Maurice Smith. I would love to hear from a Ray Suffolk, somebody that really understands striking and comes over and tells us what we can expect, what those first 2 matches we should take away and come with. I mean, look, Daniel Cormier, but Daniel Cormier is a wrestler. He attempted it one time. He said if Pereira can knock out Adesanya with the big gloves, imagine the confidence he's going to have when he puts on little gloves. Okay, that sounds right. I don't disagree with Daniel. That sounds right. I'm just sharing for you. That's almost the only insight we've ever been given to this match, and we got it from a wrestler. I would like to do a better job, guys. I'd like to come over here and I'd like to tell you what's illegal in kickboxing, but is going to be legal under the unified rules, particularly as it pertains to the stand-up. Because I will meet you there. I will meet you in that these two guys are going to stand up. I don't believe either one has a weapon to change that. And moreover, I don't believe either one's ego is going to let them do that. However, I would have told you the same thing about Sugar Sean versus Peter Yan. All of a sudden, Peter Yan's got a big takedown. I would have told you the same thing with Francis Ngannou versus Cyril Gane. And Francis comes out and wins the fight getting takedowns. So I will fully admit that we don't know. We never know, right? There's a reason we've got to pop the popcorn, put the butts in the seats, and turn the cameras on. There's a reason we do it, but we still have a reasonable expectation, and I would love to hear from a credentialed striker, specifically Henry Hooft. I'm turning to him, not only because of his background, but because he can coach guys. He knows what the differences are. He knows where the strengths lie. He knows what you can bring with you from kickboxing to MMA and what you have to throw away. He knows what is banned under the unified rules and allowed in the other rule set. And we're not getting these guys to speak. We're not getting these guys' opinion. Pereira is right there in the athleticism realm with Adesanya. I did not know that. I learned this last night. Watching Pereira videos, watching the footage. I don't feel that he has the same rhythm, but I do find that he has the same explosiveness. I don't know that he has the same setups in terms of some of that movement and rhythm. I don't know that he has that. However, he doesn't throw air balls. When Pereira reaches out to touch something, he reaches out and touches something. And the bad news, right, if that first punch missed, good for you, but there's going to be 3 and 4 more coming right behind it. That's where the problem lies. It's an interesting fight. It is such an interesting fight. And a lot of people on the inside think that those 2 kickboxing matches did matter. You guys on the outside don't. Adesanya's a 2-1 favorite. I would love for Henry Hooft to tell us whether or not he should be.